Hey, look at that. Mike Draco in over across the line first. No questions. Seconds, milliseconds before Robin Higginbottom. Dennis Stauber in the house. Bruno Coppola. Fantastic. We're here again Sunday night. Hey, I'm Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm going to be your host for the next 90 to 120 minutes. All the two-wheel bullshit we can fit on a little program we call Shop Talk, going live every Sunday evening. Please join us for this fantastic ride we call Life with the Motorcycle. Coming to you live from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio, 50 floors beneath the street level. We're getting ready to launch this one in just 4 minutes. But hey, that's enough time for you to get a cold drink, kick back, relax. Remember to hit the like and share button. Help us get this out everywhere. And tell us where you're listening from. David Crum just got back from a ride a half hour ago. Bruno Coppola, Laconia, New Hampshire. Russ Journey, Kearney, Nebraska. Who else is in the house tonight? We want to hear from all you guys. This is going to be a fantastic show. We are here on this show tonight announcing this year's inductees for the Sturgis Hall of Fame from the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame, happening this year in August. You want to get your tickets now, man, now. Lance Baxter, Leesburg, Florida. Kashif from Texas. Tejas, my brother's down there. Bob Blue, California. Gary Dubois, St. Paul. Got some stuff coming your way here any minute, Gary. Any minute. I promise. Mike Draco from Cincinnati. Tony Tella and Nick from Mephimass. Prairie City, Oregon. Rob Altigre. Steve Sokol. Menasha, Wisconsin. They got some hard names to pronounce up there. They have a town called Menominee. Greg White from Tejas. Beauty of a day for a ride. James Patience in Idaho, but he's here with us tonight. Radar Fletcher, NPA in Allentown. You're just like 4 hours away from us, man. Come on by. Professional Monkey in the house with us. This is going to be a packed show tonight. Steve Broyles from Detroit. 2.5 minutes. We're going live with this one. I'm going to get a drink real quick because I'm almost out of breath. Stick around. We're going live in 2 minutes. Oh, I can't let so many guys go by here. So TJ Helms, Egan, Minnesota. Tim Skates, Waller, Texas. Man, really good. So some heavy news tonight. We're going to save that for the news segment, but like all of a sudden when you don't think motorcycle rights are something that you have to watch out for, some law comes up that's just ridiculous. This one in particular, I can't even believe that it's proposed to be on the books, but nevertheless, we got great organizations out there like the Motorcycle Riders Foundation, AMA, the ABATE people all looking out for that. So make sure you support them, get out and take care of them, be a member, be counted, make sure that the goof-offs from Washington aren't sneaking one past us like this. Hey, we're just 1 minute out now, 1 minute going live with Shop Talk.
Can I get an amen?
Okay, just 16 seconds left. That means it's time to get this one out of the station and up onto the tracks. Let's go live with this week's installment of Shop Talk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It's just after 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk every Sunday night. I can't believe we do this. This is more regular than everything else I do in my life. I'm your host, Chris Callen from Cycle Source Magazine. The next 90 to 120 minutes is going to be filled with all the two-wheel bullshit we can fit. Coming to you live from the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio, 50 floors beneath the street level with my crew, my faithful crew.
Hey.
The regular. This is regular.
Regular.
It is regular. Every Sunday we do this. It's like church
At 9-ish?
or football.
Or when we're getting ready to leave somewhere, are you going to start saying regulars ride?
Regulators, mount up.
Oh, gosh.
So we have a crasher in the house tonight.
I know.
In studio, Mr. Tom Kiefer.
He's sneaking in the back door.
I'm just kind of sitting here.
Don't tell me you got stage fright.
No, I don't have stage fright.
Kiefer never has stage
No.
fright.
So Kiefer has been nice enough, and I have to tell you, so we're both involved in the Chopper Friends Throwdown. I know you guys have heard me say all this stuff over and over and over, but we're both involved in that, and we've been back and forth helping each other with the motorcycles that we're building. And in the last 2 days, to tell you that there has been a flurry of activity on the 49 Pan. Yeah, dude, it's no kidding. Kiefer actually told me that I screw around too much in the shop.
It was awesome. I'm like, well.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
I said, stop setting it up. Let's just kill it.
So we got a lot of the fab work done. We're almost ready to get things over to Mark in the body shop back at Flatbroke. But man, it's been a real treat. Like, I got to really do a lot more on this motorcycle than I have on stuff that I built before, and we've been having a really good time. So Kiefer is my hostage for a few days here.
We don't know when I'm going to be on parole and be able to go back home to my family.
We figured we'd just kind of keep him around. He's trying to finish the puzzle from hell.
I just organized everything.
Oh.
So a lot of good stuff. We got all the motor mount stuff done, and tomorrow we're going to tackle the mounting the gas tank and the fender. So
I love my motorcycle.
we got to hurry up, boy.
So
There ain't
now
much
she's
time.
claiming it, Chris. You're in
Right?
trouble.
Yeah. I'm right
mine.
out. Only because I tell you that's my retirement plan, right? I die,
I know
you sell all
lie
my
to me.
stuff.
It's okay. I know you lie.
Just don't sell it for what he told you he has in it.
Oh, please. Yeah. Hey, I do the books. I know everything that comes up. He's like, it wasn't much. I know.
She thinks she knows, Mark.
Yes.
No, trust me. I know,
I don't
more
even
than
know.
you think I do.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Did you say something about motorcycles?
Crazy.
Oh, Steve Sokol, beautiful bike.
Thank you so much. So it's going to be a fantastic night tonight. We have Leah Whaley and Keith Terry coming in from the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame. We're going to announce this year's inductees, which is a super huge thing. Like, if you get to Sturgis, there's so much to do in Sturgis. But the one thing you absolutely cannot miss is a visit to the museum. And if it is possible for you to attend the Hall of Fame breakfast this past year, we got to see Sugar Bear stand up and accept the award for Ben Hardy, and like, the speech was incredible. We have it on our YouTube page if you missed it, but to be there live and see the people, like, if you're a lifetime motorcycle nut like me, these people have been my heroes forever, and to see them all in the same room celebrating our history, like,
It gives you goosebumps.
Yeah, a lot of passion.
Oh,
really great.
it really is. It was cool last year to see Willie G stand up and
Oh, yeah.
And see,
address it.
how about when Sugar Bear told him he didn't like the color of the 1 year bike?
that was good.
He kept saying, "No, Mr. G, it's okay." All right, so hey, listen, Shop Talk goes live every Sunday at 9 p.m. You can participate. Over here is the comment box. Wherever you're watching from, any of our 15 social media channels, you can just put your comments in right on the social media channel. It'll come up in that box. We'll try to get to you throughout the show. But if this is your first time, first I want to welcome you. I also want to let you know that Shop Talk is the American custom motorcycles scene's source of news and information. We even do some entertainment.
Entertainment?
Listen, we're entertaining. We're about to hit the heights, the night of nights.
Wow.
We're going to start this whole thing off with a little segment we call the news. The Shop Talk World Report is brought to you by Law Tigers. Get the compensation you deserve and get back on the road with Law Tigers. Okay, first up in the news tonight, and this comes in from the AMA, but also falls under the heading of batshit crazy news. And this is exactly what I was talking about in the lead-in. You cannot let your guard down for a minute when it comes to motorcycle rights. The AMA fights unconstitutional Connecticut loony bill threatening motorcyclist rights. SB 96 pushes non-consensual organ donation for motorcycle crash victims not wearing a helmet.
Yeah, I call BS. Like
I'm gonna let that. I'm gonna let that just sink in for 1 second.
it goes right along with his name, Looney.
I actually just read that they're expecting to pass a law for people who ride a motorcycle and crash not wearing a helmet to they just automatically forfeit all of their organs. So the American Motorcycle Association recently expressed outrage and began a fight against Connecticut's proposed legislation, SB 96, which would propose that any street riding motorcyclist killed would automatically become an organ. Well, at least they're waiting until we're dead.
Yeah,
that's
right.
great. How big
I was
is that?
actually going
Right?
to say that.
If they're not wearing a helmet, something that's currently legal under Connecticut state law for riders over the age
No
of
way.
18.
Yep.
Are you
It's got to
kidding
be
me?
in your civil rights. It has to be.
No,
It-
it is. It's taking away your rights. You have a right to choose.
Hey,
Or
Period.
just don't die in a motorcycle crash. That's what I say.
What if you don't wear a
Here's-
seatbelt?
Here's
like,
what I want to know.
seriously?
We talked about we say that we never bring up politics here, but is this? But before we said "my body, my choice," we used to say "my body, do what you want."
Yeah, whatever you want.
It'll be interesting to see, just because it's proposed, if it actually makes it out of committee to the floor for a vote.
It
That would be
almost-
interesting.
Listen to the experience over there. He
Well,
knows.
his wife is a state rep. I'm just saying he should know something.
There's all kinds of stuff going on in that peanut gallery over there. What's happening?
Sometimes he says something intelligent.
All right, so moving on to the next piece in the news. Flat track racing fans, this comes in from the Free Press. American Flat Tracks return to Daytona International Speedway for 23 Bike Week season opener. Progressive American Flat Track reviews Daytona Bike Week tradition with the 23 season opener returning to the flat track at Daytona International Speedway on Thursday, March 9th and Friday, March 10th. Daytona Short Track will feature 2 back-to-back nights of bar-banging racing under the lights at one of the most iconic racing arenas in the history of the sport. So this is good news, bringing racing into the forefront. That's the first thing we're talking about in Daytona. So save your heavy drinking and pay attention that there are races in Daytona.
That's right. Go to the races.
Isn't that kind of how it all started?
Yes.
Beach racing, Daytona.
Yeah.
Should still be a thing.
Yeah, that's right. Bring all the racing back you
It
can.
really should. Next up from our own Cycle Source magazine news blog, National Motorcycle Museum to close its doors.
Oh, man.
We found out about this just the other day, man, and unbelievable. It's with heavy heart that we share the news. The end of an era is upon us. The hallowed grounds of the National Motorcycle Museum will be closing its doors at the end of the 23 season. We commend Jill for continuing the legacy as long as possible and are sure the decision did not come lightly or easily. We hope that everyone will support the museum with fever pitch until the last possible moment. We urge you to plan your visit as soon as possible. So this was, the museum that John Parham and Jill started, through the years of that company, and it was a passion of his like you can't even believe. I can't imagine what he told his wife about what he spent on motorcycles. But
That must have been a big one.
I'm really saddened at the same time. I want to say that where is the stuff going?
You know
what
something?
I
I was
mean?
going to say that. What are they going to do with all the stuff they have in there? Is it going to go to other museums?
I
Or other
really
museums
wish
are
Well,
gonna
it
she,
take it
would.
over?
she does say that they are what's been on loan will go back to its rightful owner, but they're also going to liquidate and sell a lot of it off.
Wow.
Which is, hopefully other museums or even
Yeah.
collectors will be able to procure
grab
some of that.
up.
It'd be great to see some of that end up in the Black Hole Museum and maybe some of the Legends and some of the other museums out there. So it is still available for.
Yeah, what a shame.
It's sad. It's heartbreaking. It really is.
Well, and this is some of the stuff that we talk about, man, that with the magazines were always kind of like when we were the outcasts of polite society as motorcycle people. The magazines were always the storehouse of our history, of the names and faces of our heroes, the timeline of the generations of motorcycle riders. And as the magazines started to close, that's going away. And Steve Burrell's just put up Wheels Through Time. And yeah, there's tons like, Bill's deal up in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Is it the old
Bill's Bike Barn.
Bill's
Yeah,
Bike
Bike
Barn,
Barn. But as things like this happen now, and that stuff gets scattered, what happens to our history?
So I have an idea.
Okay.
I think you and I should take a road trip and hit all the motorcycle museums and just let everybody know about them, because how many people don't know about
A lot.
Bill's Bike Barn or the Legends Gallery, Legends in Utah. There's so many of them out there, and let's maybe start bringing them to the forefront.
Well, and look, to my point about them closing, remember the museum in Laconia?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's gone. Where did the
Perfect
stuff
example,
go?
Professional Monkey. His first trip was to Sturgis was 33 years ago. He's never been to the museum.
Oh.
Well, what's wrong with him?
I bet you
wrong
he'll
with
go
him?
this year.
Yeah,
All right, so let's move on.
pressure's on now.
It really is. So the Be Colin Strong raises $30,000 for childhood cancer and autism research. As we all know, the motorcycle community is one of the most caring, kind, and generous communities on the planet. This weekend, a group of around 100 motorcycle lovers came together in Royal Palm, Florida, to prove that once again, the fourth Collins Memorial Ride, a ride to benefit Be Colin Strong, a childhood cancer and autism research foundation, took place Saturday, February 4th, 2023. So Heather, you had some more insight on
did.
this. You were actually talking in the pre-show with us about
Yeah,
it.
so the Woody Scheck family unfortunately lost their son Colin to a very rare form of cancer back in 2017. And somehow they found the strength to make something good out of such a devastating loss, and they formed Be Colin Strong, which is a foundation that benefits the Palm Bay School for Autism and the Pediatric Oncology Support Center at Palm Bay Hospital. So they split that $30,000 between the two. And at the School for Autism, there's actually a Colin Woody Scheck technology program, a tech program for kids that are dealing with autism. So a huge kudos to that family and everybody that supports it. I talked to Michael just a little bit tonight. It is their fourth one. They kind of were on a little bit of a hiatus because of COVID, but hopefully we're going to see this thing grow a little bit more every year. I know they had a tremendous support from the community, and for the fourth annual event to bring in $30,000
That's great.
for kids,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Very
So
cool.
Very cool.
hopefully we'll be able to get a little more involved with them over the next year.
Yep.
So kudos to that family and everybody that supported it.
Tom, over to you.
What?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
I got nothing.
It's going to be a long show for Tom.
Yeah, I'm just
So-
kind of sitting here on the side.
One more thing in the news tonight, and this is for Daytona Race Nuts.
Race nuts?
Yeah.
I mean, is there actually a thing as
Daytona Supercross
The
track
racing nuts?
designed by the man himself, the legend.
Honey, will
RC.
this be the year? Will
Check 'em out.
This be the year?
There it is.
Wow.
So Ricky Carmichael, first of all, if you don't know this, designs the best racetracks on the planet. And for a while, he was kind of opposed to it, you know, and it's sort of cool because the tracks were getting so aggressive.
Yep.
And riders were getting hurt, and he was urging the whole organization to take a look at like what they were doing with the
they're going
level.
Do you think this
Going
year they might
extreme.
let me in? I'm just curious.
Daytona give Dirty Biker Cycle Source an actual press pass.
We're like
Forget
one
it.
of the
Forget it.
Like, I don't understand. I
Forget
don't
it.
understand. Every year I
Loser.
apply for credentials to go to Supercross, and every year Daytona shuts me down.
We're like, hey, we're motorcyclists too.
Yeah.
All right, so listen,
I
man.
don't want to go. Forget you.
Forget you. You can't go.
Forget you. You can't go
So
now.
listen, we're going to get right to our guest, but real quick here, we're going to take a look at a cool feature bike, a Panhead I ran into in Detroit. We're going to come back on the other side and get right into it. It's going to be a great show. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Shop Talk.
Out of Focus is brought to you by Garage Build.
Submit your build, share your passion. Powered by Dennis Kirk.
Jack Goodman from Whitaker, Michigan. It's a 1957 Pan. Was actually built in '68 by a guy. I bought it. It was a really bad chopper. I mean, the fender, and then I stripped it down and built it into this. Been a bunch of years getting to the point where she's at, but she's a good old girl. A buddy of mine built a sissy bar. My buddy Toddy painted the fender and the tank for me. I did the frame, built the motor years ago, the trans. Probably about our third evolution from when I started. Got an old stuffed B blocker, Hurst pistol grip shifter I put on, and ammonium gas tank. It was just like a regular Sportster. And then we flattened this out or curved this and moved the cap up to there. That way I can get all the gas in it I can use before I have to walk. Fab Kevin seat hinge. My buddy Sethro did the sissy bar. He did the seat, parts from Stevenson Cycle, and well, I retired over a year ago. I'm back working part-time for Steve at Stevenson Cycles, doing some motor work and stuff like that for him. Built my first bike when I was 16 and never looked back. Back in the day, that's what everybody was running, spool wheels. Nowadays, I run a brake because people are crazy. The motor, the transmission, and the oil tank are all original 57. I built the pipes. I built the top motor mount to mount the shifter up there. Jack Goodman, I'm from Whitaker, Michigan, and I'm on ShopTalk.
We're the Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers. We understand the challenges riders face every day. As riders, we want to share the road and be seen by motorists. Remaining visible is critical to our safety and well-being. That's why we work tirelessly to promote motorcycle safety and awareness. We're proud to support our community that includes riders of all stripes. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. The Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, and I'm here. I'm at the Dennis Kirk warehouse. Over 160,000 items in this room. You guys hear me say it all the time. Last minute in the garage, waiting to get that part you need. This is where it comes from. Check them out today, DennisKirk.com. All right, welcome back to the Dennis Kirk studio. Roll.
Hello.
Yep, that was in and out, right?
Oh my God.
Hey,
Shit's going down.
what's going on?
That is your mic, Chris.
Don't touch the buttons.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Listen, you know what happened is I hooked the mic up for Kiefer.
Oh boy, blame it on
Sure.
Kiefer.
Yep.
Blame the guy that's trying to help you.
It's always the guy that's trying
See,
to
look, I unhooked his mic and everything's good.
Here.
just scream.
You might be off the show, Kiefer.
Just yell.
No,
Yell
you're
real
good.
loud.
Literally
You're
just
good.
gave him the axe in the middle of the show.
Jeez,
Nice.
this is a tough
Real
crowd.
So
nice.
listen, the theme of this evening is pay attention. There's important things going on
Oh, boy.
all the time around you. While we're having fun at these parties, there's historic racing happening. There are legendary events taking place.
Wait, we had
There
fun
are-
at parties?
We do. Well, we used to party.
Oh.
You
Your
used
beard
to.
was a lot shorter,
Yeah.
and I didn't have as much gray in my hair.
Probably was drunk, probably lit it on fire.
Yeah, what it was gray then. It was
Yes,
just
it
burnt
was.
black.
It was doing-
So
Oh,
tonight we are very, very honored to have people from the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame on, and we're actually gonna break the news of this year's inductees. We're gonna start this event off with introducing you to Leah Whaley, the museum's director. I hope I said that right. I'm bad. No,
Close.
help me out, Heather.
Close. She got it.
Okay. Well,
She's good with it.
let's go there before I say something else dumb.
Just Hanging Out in the Shop is brought to you by Spectral Oils. Made in the USA since 1966, the best oil on planet Earth.
Boy, see, talk about leaving me out to dry,
I
Leah.
totally left you out there.
Huh? See how she does to me?
Well, you know.
What is your official title? Did I say it completely wrong?
No, you're half right. I'm the executive director of the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame.
Okay, there you go.
Well, just to let you know, he's normally half right, so that's not abnormal.
So the Sturgis Museum is, I kind of feel like it's the hidden gem inside of the rally, because it's right on Main
A lot of
Street.
ways we are.
With everything else, and people consecutively, I talked to people who it was their first time out there, and they may have missed the opportunity if I didn't bring it up.
Thank you for bringing it up, because, we're located right at the intersection of the legendary Main Street and Junction Avenue. So we are right at the heart of the Sturgis Rally, and we are open daily during the rally from 9 to 6. We're open 12 months a year, which is the great thing. So if you're for some reason not coming out to the rally and you want to come out at a different time, we'd love to have you. We're open pretty much every day of the year but Christmas, New Year's, and Thanksgiving. We're a 12-month a year facility, and we've got a great collection of amazing motorcycles, art, and memorabilia.
Now, can you give us a little bit of the history of the museum? Like, when did the museum actually start? When did the Hall of Fame program start?
So the current museum where we're sitting here in the historic post office, we're in national buildings on the National Historic Register. We've been open since 2001. The Hall of Fame has inducted people before 2001, so there were a couple different iterations. And now we've been consistent operation here since 2001 with the Hall of Fame, and a lot of really amazing people who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I know Keith's going to talk a little bit about that in the future, so I don't want to steal his thunder.
Well, and I wanted the opportunity to talk to you because you know that how important the history of our culture and our community is to me, and what I said before we brought you guys on about how the actual Library of Congress for motorcycling is disappearing with every magazine that's closed over the years, because it used to be for at least 3 solid generations. If you needed to know something, you went, your uncle or your dad or your grandpa had a collection of old magazines, and you would go and rummage through them.
And you found that tech tip.
Yeah, and there was the history. And but we're losing that now. So I believe that the museum, your museum especially, but the museum in general for motorcycles plays a more critical role.
You're right. And also with museums, so museums are time travel machines. So you can go back, you can learn about something you may not have known about at all. You can also use it as a reference point, but also forward looking, to your point of, we've got the stack of magazines now. What's going to happen to them, and how do we curate, conserve those, and then make it into a teaching tool, so to speak. So if you're working on your 1910 FN4, which we're blessed to have one on loan, which is a French motorcycle, and you need a measurement, we can take pictures. So it becomes, museums overall can become great teachers and curators and preserve our history and our legacy, because the more we have that opportunity to learn about it, the stronger our culture and our lifestyle and the sport will remain.
No, absolutely. And I mean that goes down to the younger generation. I hear older people in the community all the time complain about, the respect that the younger people have for something. Well, this is how you have to gain that respect. There has to be depth through education, and the appreciation of stuff. Favorite motorcycle in the entire collection, though, I have to tell you, the Indian. And this, if I'm right, this Indian was had a significance as far as the year of the rally, right?
Yes.
Didn't Mike?
Yep. This is a 1938 Indian with a sidecar, graciously on loan from John Paul DeJoria. And the great part about it is that same year that the Sturgis Rally started is this bike. So you've got a really neat tie-in there too, that without motorcycle racing and the family of motorcycling, we wouldn't have a rally. And we're really lucky that we have wonderful people that support our vision and our mission and are willing to loan amazing pieces to us to be able to share them with the world.
Absolutely. So speaking of support, this is where I want to do something and make sure that we're helping out. Heather, is there a way we can get the link up for the donate button to help out with the museum? Because that's something, nobody likes to bring this topic up, but the museum, the motorcycles in it ran on gas. The museum runs on your donation. So get involved, help out today.
Absolutely.
Yep. We are a 501c3, so we're nonprofit tax exempt, and we do graciously accept and say thank you with a very grateful heart to any donations that we do receive. Just like you said, Chris, at the end of the day, we got to keep the lights on. We got to, the operating things that happen in a business still have to go on.
Yep.
And through generous donations and the support of motorcyclists all around the world, that's going to help us further our mission of preserving the history of the sport, the culture, the lifestyle, and honoring those people that have made contributions to it, and also preserving and sharing the history of the Sturgis Rally.
Leah, I have to tell you how happy I am to have you in the position of executive director, because motorcycles. You didn't just come from some outside segment. You ride, you build, you love motorcycles. So it's so nice to see you in that position and want to keep preserving and sharing the history of that with everybody else.
Thank you. Thank you that means a lot. And I'm sure a million people have already heard me say it, I've spent my entire adult life looking at the world from the saddle of a motorcycle, a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. I started on a 75 Electra Glide when I was 22. And everything I have in my adult life, I could directly tie back to motorcycling, whether it's my lifelong friends, my great experiences, my husband. I can't imagine a world without a motorcycle in it. And so to be able to be here and to help preserve, support, and further the sport that gave me so much, it's just an exciting, it's not work.
That's wonderful. That's so wonderful to hear. And
Yep.
you can see how excited you are just by seeing the social media and the more activity and you sharing the history of the motorcycles that you have on display with the world. Because I know for a while there was a period where it was kind of dark and not a whole lot was happening, and then you came in and you brought life back to it.
Our passion.
And you can see your passion through what you're doing, and it's so refreshing. And I just thank you for doing that, because I know I don't know if that's why you moved to Sturgis or just one of the benefits of moving to Sturgis, but I'm so happy that you're there.
I'm really, really blessed. I've got a killer team we are small but mighty. We've got Penny, our museum manager. We have Jake, our museum tech, and I are the three full-times. And then Patty works in our gift shop, and she is just an absolute delight as well. And I'm blessed because I have a very engaged, supportive board who also has some very strong passion for the sport and the industry, but also has some very good vision. So how can we take this museum to that good to great, and really making this our year of excellence, so that as we go on to a 3 to 5 year plan, we can start to implement some more creative and interesting things. Like I mentioned earlier, I would really like to see us be able to be a helping hand for people when they're researching motorcycles, for instance.
Yeah.
And that all takes time. And back to the other one, it also takes money and support, whether it's a donation or all of those also help.
I think it's pretty cool that not only, like Chris was saying, as the magazines go out, the culture sort of diminishes, that seeing a person like you step in with the passion that you have, maybe bringing that museum to the next level. Like you're saying, it's not only going to be a museum, but it's going to be an archive of tech and history about everything. You need to find something out about a certain bike. If it's there, you have all, it's like an open forum for what you need.
And technology, and sometimes we cuss technology, but I'll tell you what, technology can make the world a lot closer and a lot easier when we've all got this. Well, there we go. We've all got this.
Yep.
And we can take a picture, walk around a video, and answer a quick question. And it's just, to me, it's a beautiful resource. And not only do we have amazing motorcycles, we've got original art, we've got memorabilia, we've got textiles, fabrics. So there's a lot for everybody. So if you're not as much into the motorcycle side, there's still history, there's still different kinds of bikes, there's South Dakota history, there's vehicle history. So there's a lot going on that more people can come in and enjoy.
So we have a couple comments to get to real quick. First of all, Robin Higginbottom said, my favorite parts were the Jesse Combs Memorial and the Armed Services section, which had a beautiful bike commemorating the Navy. My late brother had finished his 6 years with the Navy as an E6. He rode to between taking my dad's Kawasaki out for a joyride as a teenager to his last ride, an HD 11 Road King. So very special to have seen that.
Wow.
That is cool. And can I quick interrupt that one
Sure.
for a minute? The Jesse Combs exhibit is really, it's a spectacular exhibit because it does highlight our inaugural recipient of the Kickstands Down, someone who was passed before they were recognized by the industry. And then on the USS South Dakota bike that's down in the basement in our military gallery, that's a really cool bike because back to that military history, South Dakota history. This is a Virginia-class submarine that was commissioned in 2019. South Dakota artist Mickey Harris, and you can see the graphic in the back. South Dakota artist Mickey Harris is the guy that did the artwork on the bike, and it's a 2019 Street Glide. And
that's
any
not it.
plank
I'm
holder. Oh, no, that's okay. You're in the gallery. And the 2019 Street Glide is any plank holder who's on that boat can come here and he or she can check that bike out and ride it in the Black
no
Hills.
kidding.
And that's
cool.
for until 2049 because it was 30 years.
Wow, that's
so
great.
And that was a really cool collaboration among the Harley Davidson Motor Company, J&L Harley, Black Hills Harley, and it's a super cool thing that and the USS South Dakota Commissioning Committee as well. It's a super cool thing that you just don't get to see every day.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that it's like interactive almost a bit too. Like, instead of like a museum where you walk in and you can't even approach anything, like everything in there's approachable.
Yeah.
And, like you
Walk
said,
right through
yeah,
it.
you have so much more than just motorcycles there. There's lifestyle, there's people, there's It's a great place. If you've never been there, you're totally missing. On top of that, there's air conditioning in there. And then when it's 4,000 degrees on Main Street, run through there.
And
buy cold water for $2 a bottle plus sales tax.
And it's right down the street from some of the best ice cream in South Dakota.
Right. Ice cream social.
And Emma's.
Yeah.
Yes, we love Emma's every Wednesday night.
Big fans here.
Yes, sir.
I've been in the museum a few times and I'm really, really enjoyed it. It's well worth the time.
Yep.
It's
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Kiefer.
I said something.
The Peanut Gallery.
So, when you talked a minute ago about the Hall of Fame and the Hall of Fame breakfast that goes into that, this was your first year as the charge for putting that all together, and I couldn't help but see, because I love everything that I do so much, and when you see someone else do what they do with so much passion, that you can see that in them. By the end of that presentation, you literally had given everything that you had. You were empty at the end of it, and it was
it was powerful.
Yeah.
And like you said, Sugar Bear and Willie, with their comments and their induction. Hearing Don Emdy with the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh my God, I know.
And Hardtail with and leading in with the MRF. I mean, you gotta go to the Hall of Fame breakfast. It's always the Wednesday of the rally. It's at the Lodge in Deadwood. We start the ceremony at 9:00. We can do breakfast 8:30-ish, and our tickets will go on sale March 1st. Through the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame's website. And if you're interested in buying a corporate table, give us a call at the museum, and that's 605-34-2001. And those tables will also go on sale on March 1st.
Right on. So that's going to bring us into the second part of this show. We want to introduce Mr. Keith Terry is going to come on with us. But can you tell me a little bit about Keith coming into the organization?
Oh my goodness. Keith has been instrumental with the organization for many, many years. He's currently our vice president. He also is the chair of the Hall of Fame committee and really gives good vision, guidance, and direction to the team, and is really a great caretaker of both the museum and of the Hall of Fame, and he's just a delight to work with.
Oh, he's a great conversation, and I thought it was funny because, when you think about the Sturgis Hall of Fame, this is something I consistently say about it, that, for all of the rest of polite motorcycling, there's the AMA Hall of Fame in Pickering, and that's great. But for our side of the culture, for the rough and tumble guys, the people who built, events like Sturgis and Laconia and the pioneers of this side of motorcycling, this is our museum. This is our Hall of Fame, and it just seems so fitting in that regard. But then when you have a conversation with Keith, I've known Keith for many, many years, but only just the other day started talking to him about motocross and cross-country motorcycling and started to see the depth that he has. My God, that man is an encyclopedia with that stuff. So really, really awesome for you guys, because you can see the depth that's starting to add into your program too.
Yes, and it is his passion. The museum and the Hall of Fame is definitely Keith's passion, and his dedication and focus on that just absolutely shines through every day.
Okay, well, let's see if while we're on here I can switch over real quick.
There he is.
I'm not as professional today. I let my compliment down.
You hit chopper brain.
we were up late last night.
Mr. Keith Terry, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine.
So excited to have you here tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate all this time together.
Yeah, we've been a couple times in a row. We've had some pretty great conversations.
Oh, when we talking motorcycles, I don't know what else means more than that. And we spent a lifetime riding them, building them, enjoying them with other people. It's just been quite a quite a thing for all of us.
Now, you yourself are an inductee to the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame. What year was that? And tell me about when you got the phone call.
Well, I was inducted in 2014, and I got a call from Rod Woodruff from the Buffalo Chip, and he was talking about different things that we kind of were doing together, and he was laying them all out, and then all he said, and you've been inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. And then we went on to talk about others. I said, wait a minute. Back this up a second. What did you say? And he went on to tell me that I was going to be inducted into the Sturgis Motorcycle Hall of Fame. Motorcycle Hall of Fame, and I just didn't know what to say. I was just it was just something that I never expected. I didn't know that really that anybody. I just didn't know I was of that level to be honored in that way. It's been nothing but a wonderful ride because they asked me to be on the board 9 years ago. I thought, yeah, this will be great. And I got more involved with the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame to me is one of the most important things that we do at the museum. Getting a hold of and the inductees and nominees that we go through, it takes a year. It takes a year to round up all the nominees. There could be 20 to 50 different people that have sent in who they think should is at the level to be brought into the Hall of Fame. I take that very seriously. To me, the people that we sort through and end up choosing to be brought into the Hall of Fame, to me, are the very best that our industry has to offer. The best. And we sort through them and we pick who is going to go into the Hall of Fame, and we have a list here that's who's going to go in the year of 2023. But it didn't come easy. The one thing that we do that other Hall of Fames or museums don't do, and that is we have a broad range of who we look at to go into the Hall of Fame. We look at bike builders, custom bike builders, antique bike builders, parts manufacturers. We look at the media. We look at the artist that gets our message out as well. We look at the racing crowd. We look at all of those, and we only have 5 spots that's going to be brought in. So it's very difficult and hard for us to sort through all that, pick out the best we can, and then that's who we honor to go into the Hall of Fame. And I've spent the last 8 years chairing that committee. Been fun for me, and it is a very important part of what we do.
Right on, man. Well, I'll tell you what, on behalf of the entire motorcycle community out here, we can't thank you guys enough for the work that you're doing here, because and I know you ran a company doing this stuff for most of your adult life. You chased a motorcycle dream for all of your life. There are very few things that you'll ever find better than your peers saying to you that the work that you did mattered. You know what I mean? So that in itself, because the days are long, the nights are long, the sacrifices are many, the money is always short.
Always.
You know, but that one thing, getting that recognition, man, it can make you look back over the whole time that you spent and be grateful.
You know, when you go up on stage, and I know when I did, and I looked out over the crowd of 600-700 people, and they're all my friends out there. I couldn't make it through the whole induction process. It was difficult before I just came apart. Mm. It's an honor, and I couldn't be blessed more.
Right on.
Wow.
So, you wanna get started with this year's process?
Sure. Well, the very first, alphabetically, the very first person that comes up is Jay Allen.
Yes.
And Jay is here with us. Jay's here with us tonight.
So this is something I could not be happier about this, because from our own personal stories, Jay Allen has been the orphanage. You know, like absolutely. He fed us. He gave us a place to sleep. He gave, I mean, gas money to get home. He connected
the incentive to keep going.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Heck, honey, if it weren't for Jay, you and I probably wouldn't be married.
Yeah, right. God, me and you would probably be in jail.
That's a lot to hang on somebody.
You know, Jay,
thanks, Jay.
Jay owned the Broken Spoke. And I don't think there's anybody that ever went to Sturgis that didn't go to the Broken Spoke.
Right.
Yep.
And, you know I did, and Jay was typically there. He was so friendly. Everybody felt at home. It was a place to have a good time, to party and meet other people. You just couldn't have a better time than going to the Broken Spoke and enjoying the day or the evening or whatever it was. I mean, just going to Sturgis itself, you have to pace yourself, you know? And all kinds of different things are going on that
I'll say.
You just go out of one and ride it back into another. But one of them at the Broken Spoke was just a treat to be able to go there. I met Jay a long time ago. I also got to go to Bonneville and get to see him not only break some records, but to set some records. And they stand today. And I mean, we're not talking about just one or two. It's like 55 different records.
My man,
that
listen,
he holds.
He does nothing small.
And he's helped other people do that.
We call him a gunslinger at Bonneville. Because like if you got a record that's hanging a little too close to the ground, Jay Allen is going to come by and pick that off.
That's right, and he did.
Yo,
and, you know, I got to watch that. It was quite a deal for me all the way around. I just Vintage Motorcycle. There's a segment of our motorcycle family and community, and Jay Allen plays such a huge role and so worthy of being brought into the Hall of Fame in 2023.
Well, let's bring him on and see how he feels. What do you think? What do you think, man?
I got to tell you, I'm so humbled, and to listen to you guys, I think of the chapters of my life and the journey, because we all start out with these big eyes and the love of the motorcycle, and we really don't know where it's going to take us. And where it's taken me is phenomenal. That I'm sitting here talking about being inducted blows my mind. But the journey, I wouldn't trade shoes with anybody. It's been incredible. The relationships. And Chris, you and I mean, let's face it, we helped each other get better.
Yeah.
And it was all about the riders. It was all about what can we do to take care of our brothers and sisters out there? What we can do to inform them? How can we make their experience better?
Yep.
And yeah, when you love something, you're so passionate about it. And for me to stand backstage and I look out beyond the band and I see these smiling faces, and we all have such worries. We all have stuff going on in our lives. But in that moment, they are living in the moment. They're happy and they're at the Broken Spoke and they know we got their back. And I've met people from all around the world, and I am the luckiest man in the world for the role that I've played in the V-twin industry.
Hey, let's not forget that not only did you do it for, the riders and all that stuff in the culture, but for the builders at that point. At the time where there was an issue with the custom chopper guys and stuff, nobody believed in us. And I mean, you gave us a chance to set our rolling circus up, and you gave us a home and pretty much babysat us psychos for how many years while we lit your buildings on fire, while we wrecked everything.
Oh, my God.
I mean, the stuff that we did, and dude, you encouraged us to keep going. And dude,
listen,
all of us.
We all had so much respect for him. There was nothing worse.
Dude, I remember one time somebody wrote something bad about you, and we literally went in their bus and drug them out and made them clean it up because they were talking shit on you. Like you were a father, you were like a father figure to all of us.
But that was the worst part, right? So one night, a bunch of our guys got drunk, and they spilled over the beer tub.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it destroyed the band's clothing. The next day, Jay gets, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Here comes the big talk. And he takes me off to the side and he said, Chris, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I wanted to die.
Disappointed is the worst thing.
You guys, that is something that I'm very proud of because I saw so much talent in you guys. And I was so honored to be the person that you trusted as to provide the venue for you to showcase your talents.
Well, you did.
And, we're talking about Billy Lanes and Indian Larrys and Jesse Rooks and Johnny Chops. And it's, I love my role because our relationships are incredible. And what you guys, have you evolved, and that I could provide you a venue to showcase that. I'm so proud to have been that guy. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You deserve every bit of this.
Oh my gosh, and then some. You're such a pioneer. You had such a vision of how it should be, and you
humble.
Raised so many of us through this thing.
Raised us and gave us a home, and still to this day.
Dude, and even over the stupid shit we did, you never left us. You never left us high and dry.
You were a pain in the ass, but I love you, Jeff.
Still to this day. The vibe that exists at the Broken Spoke in Daytona
is because of you.
is like home.
Yeah.
It's like pulling into home, and it's relaxed and it's kicked back, and that is because you laid those bricks, man.
Yeah.
How many land speed
people
records?
tell me when they get on the property they can feel it.
Oh yeah.
But it's backing up, you guys. When I started in Big Al Swap Meet, and so I learned when I got that bar, I learned from a customer's perspective, not being a bar owner. And, when I think of Big Al's, two aisles down from me was John Parham. He had a 10 by 20 table with that curly hair of his selling parts. And I was selling deerskin riding gloves, sheepskins, and knives. And we would go to the Spoke at night, and that was our spot. And so I looked at it from a different perspective as a rider, not a bar owner. And it really worked out because, as you guys know, if you come to the Spoke and you've had too much to drink, I will fight you. I will kick your ass before you get on that bike and leave the property, And we love our people, and we've got their backs, and the relationship has gone on for decades. And it's just been such a cool role to play in the V-twin industry.
No. And that's the reason why we got in so much trouble, because we got really drunk and we just stayed at
We
the
just
Spoke.
stayed. Because here was the deal. He wouldn't let you drive off the property, but anything you wanted to
anything
do
goes on the property.
How many land speed
guys.
records do you have, Jay?
So far, 55.
Wow.
55.
Is that it?
55.
Yes, and that takes it's a teamwork thing, and I look at the Jeff Langs and my Tonys and Dustin King, my current partners. We all have that passion for going fast and being the fastest in the world, and also sharing it with all the other racers out there, because I don't care if you're riding a Honda 50 or you're running in the mid 230s like I do. It's so cool to see that passion of people out there just trying to set those records and get past that limit. It's a lot of fun. If you guys don't know anything about Bonneville and land speed racing, check it out. And I know there's a guy named Burt Monroe. If you've never seen World's Fastest Indian, it will change your life.
My favorite movie.
Yeah.
Jay, do you remember when we were out in Bonneville together, and Jay Allen gave me my first ride on a land speed motorcycle? Infected me, and I will never be the same after that. But we were there one year, and there was an old guy in a truck with a little Triumph, and he had a hat on that said "Old Guys Rule." And when I say old guy, I mean like he was in his mid to late 80s. Finally go over and talk to this guy, and he's there by himself. And his story was so beautiful. He had run a motorcycle shop his whole life in Tyler, Texas. He had a stroke, and while he was in recovery, his wife felt bad. He had promised her he would never ride a motorcycle again. She brings him home a movie to watch to get his spirits up. It's The World's Fastest Indian.
Yeah.
He's out at Bonneville, and he's like, well, I promised her I'd never ride a motorcycle again. He said, but this is speed trials.
I love that movie.
But that's
that's the role that we play at the museum. It's our job to go out and find the people that deserve it the most, the people that gave everything they have to the industry, and Jay Allen is one of those people. And so what an honor it is to us to give him bring him into the Hall of Fame this year.
Yes, sir.
And
wow.
It's just a big deal. That's what we do, is we find the best and bring them to the industry so everybody knows. And so congratulations, Jay. It's an honor to all of us.
Absolutely.
Well, Keith, that phone call you gave me affected me just like your call did from Rod Woodruff, I got to tell you.
You know, I got to call Jay, like you said, and that was, reuniting some old times, and what a pleasure it was. We talked about an hour and about different things, but it's just good, not just good for us, it's good for the industry to have the right people and have people that deserve it, and people that realize that it's such an honor, because only a few get there.
Wow.
Hey, guys, I want to mention to you real quick, Wink Eller is on, and he wanted to say hi to both of you. He had questions about how, what it takes to be nominated and how to get into the Hall of Fame, but you answered it already, but he wanted to make sure that he said hi to both of you guys.
Boy, and he is one of my mentors in land speed racing. Mr. Wink Eller did so much for me, and we shared so many memories on that salt. I love you, Wink. You are the man.
Yes, sir.
Wink from California, I would bump into Wink on almost every show there was, and he was always there. And one of the highlights of the show would be just listening to him and some of his experiences and stuff. Good to hear from you, Wink.
So, Jay, would you mind hanging out with us for the rest of the induction announcements, because I want to draw on your experience and your ability to carry things out professionally instead of me and Mark.
Hey,
Heather, I didn't.
Honored. As long as my Apple battery doesn't. If you guys see me disappear, it's the phone. Otherwise, okay. I'm riding the ride with you guys.
Awesome. So, Mr. Terry, you have the floor.
Yeah, again in alphabetical order, this guy that we've actually talked about throughout all this, that he gets the message out. He's had a magazine that he still puts out, and his name is Chris Collin. It happens to be.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Why don't we have the picture of you sleeping on the table?
Yeah, or on the floor.
Wait,
at the
there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, all the things that you do and I know you were there at the Hall of Fame induction breakfast. It's just to be there is an honor.
Yep.
And to see all the people there, everybody that's in the industry, that they come to it, and now it's your turn to be honored and brought into the Hall of Fame.
Well, listen, I'm for sure not gonna make a whole bunch of this about me, but I have to tell you guys, I cannot even come up with words yet. I hope by the time that this all rolls around, that's a different story. But you know, I've said it hundreds of times. Motorcycling saved my life, and I want this to continue to be there for other young people that need direction. You know, so if there's anything that I can pass on, if anything I can add to it, it's been an extreme honor for me. So thank you.
Well, you deserve it, and I know you want to move on to do some of the rest of them, but I don't want to overlook all the things that you do for not only yourself but I mean to all of us. And it takes people like you that has the forum to get the word out on all the things that all of us have achieved, and you're one of them that gets it out. So congratulations to you as well.
In all reality, you know, is 99% of the time whenever I say something about Chris, it's usually a dig or a low blow or something like that. For 35 years or so, you know, a few years prior to the magazine, to watch where he started and his passion to where we ended up right now, it's been a real pain in the ass, I can tell you. But it's been an absolute honor to work with a genius. I mean, the guy's a genius, hands down. Whatever he touches, he wants everybody to see perfection and something that comes from inside him, a passion. This probably couldn't be going to a better person. He has literally dedicated his life. And I can tell you one of the hardest moments was pulling out of the Broken Spoke parking lot. He had found out his mother died. And coming home, I know that he had said it was a really hard ride, but knowing that he was doing something that he wanted to do that was bigger than anything else. And this is an honor to be a part of it with him. And it couldn't go to a nicer guy. To go from Jay to Chris so far, this is knocking it out of the park for me. If you come up with three more that are as high as this, I'm just going home, and I'm going to try not to wake up tomorrow. I mean, so far these two to me are fantastic. Best deserved.
Hey, Chris, I got something to say. I say this on stage all the time. How many issues have you come out with since you started? Where are you at this month?
298 this next
298. We're almost at 300.
Oh, man.
Almost.
Put that into perspective, folks.
Right.
298 issues every 30 days. There's no excuses. There's no
for
whining.
25 years.
For a quarter century.
Yep.
And, you know, we've all seen some very quality magazines that have been part of the glue of this culture, and they've gone to the wayside. And, you know, again, it couldn't have been about the money. I've seen you sleeping on the floor. I've seen you sleeping on my couches. I mean, you're just hardcore, but the passion you have, and if it wasn't for you, I don't think we'd be where we are today as the B-Twin industry, our family. And Keith, you couldn't have made a better choice, buddy, because hell, we might not even have it without Cycle Source and the passion of Chris, and now with Heather and Mark and everybody behind them. And it's a small crew, but you guys are badass, and with how you've gone technologically. Here we are talking live on social media. You've taken it to every level possible. And man, thank you so much for what you've done, because you're keeping our culture alive. And for old farts like me, man, you are our hero, truly.
And dude, that's my point. Like, whenever the pandemic hit, when COVID came in, like, I know Heather wanted to kill him, because I sure as hell did. When he come up with this brilliant idea of, guess what, we're going to do cyber rallies. Like, we wanted to literally light him on fire. But you're right. I mean, that kept us going. That kept, I mean, we did 24 hours the one day or something like that.
17 hours.
And it was the coolest thing when it was all over. We were like, wow, I can't believe that. And again, let's keep in mind, this is a guy that no college education, jumped out of school early. Don't tell him he can't do something. And thank God for motorcycling, he's done it for the better good of everybody, not just himself. He puts himself last, and if anybody doesn't believe that, you don't know him. You need to check his history. So, like, it's crazy what he's done, and I couldn't be prouder to be a part of what he's done from day one. So, and remember, if anybody asks, I never said any of this.
You know,
so I'm lying about every bit of this.
We're recording this, right?
Can I give just a little bit? Just a second?
Go ahead.
All right. I know it's tough, but I want to reiterate what Jay and also Mark said. I've known Chris for close to 20 years now. We kind of got close probably about 8-9 years ago. I tell you what, every rally, every show, coast to coast, north to south, east to west, he's there. He's always there. He's always doing. He's always bringing the culture to the forefront. He's putting in the magazine. Now he's doing it social. He's doing it through ShopTalk and everything else. You can't put a price tag on that.
No.
It's too good.
It's a way of life.
It's too good. And it's not because he's trying to do something to be something special. It's because it's him. It's his culture. He's so into that culture. That's why this is such a great honor that I'm so proud to be one of his close friends.
You know, Tommy's even on the high seas.
And we didn't see him, did we? We saw him like 5 minutes a day.
How could you? He's playing a guitar. He's singing on front. He's wearing a pirate outfit.
Yeah.
He's on stage. He's
doing
I
5
never
productions.
seen anybody have more things to do and do them all well.
Keith says, I just saw him on stage, and 3 minutes later, he's got a pirate outfit on. What did he do his hair?
I know, he comes over. He came over to me, and I'm sitting there going, who is that guy? He's got a patch on his eye. He's got all this stuff going on. And I'm going, well, that's Chris. I couldn't believe it.
Come to the smokeout. You want to see somebody work
That was
hard?
fun for us.
Come to the smokeout, too.
And listen, that honestly, I said this thing a minute ago and got choked up, but motorcycling saved my life. It did. I was heading in a bad way. And in the
he was voted most likely to OD the year before before the magazine started. Most likely to die of an overdose.
And honestly, that's how great motorcycling is. That's how important things like the museum and the Hall of Fame are, because there's other young people out there that are waiting for something to turn their life around.
Right.
You know. So that's all I got.
Well, that's all the nice things I'm saying about you tonight.
Yeah, I can't say anything more.
Hey, one last thing, Chris. I always wondered, how the hell long can you last? I mean, you're like a sprinter trying to run a long marathon. How in the hell long
He's the
can you guys
Energizer Bunny.
keep this together?
Listen, as long as you guys keep letting me do shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, because I get to go to all these great places. I've met all my heroes. I get to build motorcycles, and I get in backstage behind it. I get to help with all this stuff. I would pay large amounts of money to do the things that you guys let me do. So as long as you let me do it, I'm coming back.
Jay, from what I know, he's in mile 4 of the 26-mile marathon. He's going for a long, long time yet.
I hope so.
All right.
Well, we have some more we have to get through here somehow. The next one that we were going to bring in would be Scott Jacobs.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
So if you don't know Scott Jacobs and his artwork, he is the world-renowned artist. He's a motorcyclist. He's raced the Cannonball. There's one of his bikes. If you've gone, he moved, another Californian, moved to Deadwood, South Dakota, as I did. And his studio, if you go there, which is right in in the background, and you go there, you can't believe this man's artwork. I believe, and Chris, you probably know, I believe that he is contracted through Harley Davidson to do the paintings and stuff, which is like the first one to ever get something like that. And Scott Jacobs is leading the art world in motorcycling, and I'm very proud to have him not only my friend, but he's a person that deserves everything that comes his way. And congratulations to Scott Jacobs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, Scott is speaking as an artist myself. Like, people refer to Scott's art as photorealistic, and really, the way Scott paints is better than life. It's better than your eyes see things yourself. You know what I mean? It's like that movie that captures the perfect story and romanticizes it. He manages to put those images together that way. Licensed for Harley Davidson, from Harley Davidson. Also licensed for Chevy,
I was just reading
Ford,
that.
Mattel, Marilyn Monroe Estates,
Crazy.
Elvis Presley Enterprises, the Franklin Mint, the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. Like, this man has a very, very full repertoire, and it's because of the level of the work. Like, his work is
some people,
on a
his
whole
gallery
other
is
level.
incredible too.
Some people may get one of those companies in their lifetime. He got them all. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, how good are you when it comes to that?
Right?
I have some of his paintings, and I look at him every day, and he's such he's such a good person. He's done so much for everybody, and he's always there on any kind of fundraiser or anything. He's so helpful, and I've known him for over 30 years, and I just can't get over the travel that guy does. He's in France one day and Iceland the next day, and he's got all this stuff going on, and he just comes back like nothing had happened, and the work that he puts out is just second to none. There's a lot of artists out there, and they're all good, but this year we're going to honor Scott Jacobs to be brought into the Hall of Fame.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Very nice.
And he's another one, Keith, that he's so obsessed with motorcycles it's going to kill him someday. But it
almost did.
On the Cannonball.
Yeah,
on the Cannonball. Yep.
But
he took him months to to come back around. No, but he's just never say die, never give up. He just charges on, and he's I don't know where he finds time to paint. Because he's always doing something else, and I'm glad to call him my friend, and I'm glad that he's being brought into the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely, absolutely. Congratulations, Scott Jacobs.
Woo! Yeah.
Right on.
Moving on, we have Roland Sands. Now here's a young guy that grew up in a machine shop. His father owned PM, and he was able to know how all the machinery works, know what all the tools work. In the design room, he was able to see what his father did, whether he was sweeping the floor at 14. It didn't matter. He grew up with motorcycles, and his passion was really racing. He wanted to race. So he went to school for racing. He raced as a professional for about 10 years. Holds some records in his along the path, and he like a lot of athletes, you're one injury away from never being able to do that again. I know how that works. And he chose to go back into the shop and make different parts for the industry that have been very successful. He's just a guy that has added so much to our industry by making these parts. You can put it on your custom bike, you can put it on your race bike. It makes a big difference, and so this year he's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And we talk about those significant moments in motorcycling, You know, when something was introduced and you didn't even realize that it happened. And Michael Lichter and I were talking about the fact that Roland Sands Glory Stomper build, and I can't remember when this bike came out, but Michael just did a whole new thing on Dennis Kirk's blog about it. But this motorcycle really was the crossover point where we started to really pay attention to the performance styling in the Harley world. I mean, like at this time when Roland came out with this bike, nobody was doing, you know, performance like tuned front ends like this, inverted front ends, and you know, cafe style styling, and you know, was definitely a race position. And you could start to see this from this point on in more and more of his bikes. But I really believe this was the point where Roland Sands introduced us to what would be the future of the V-twin industry moving into the performance era.
Yeah.
Well, he certainly did. He changed everything. Again, his being right with the best designers there are at Performance Machine, he was able to see all that, and I think, and he took that to a whole nother level. And he's, you know, he's very humbled doing what he does. Another Californian, but it's an honor for us to show more of what his performance is, and we're proud to have him aboard.
Well, one more thing I want to say real quick is just to talk about, you know, when Indian first launched, and they came out with the hooligan class. I was there for the first time they ever broke that race, and it was just genius, because now for all these years later, that has infected everything from Mama Tried to, you know, they do the beach classic, and like, you know, again, that pivotal moment, that something that he loved, a part of his passion, that he found a crossover point. And I mean, and that really is the statement of greatness.
Oh, no doubt about it. You know, and so, you know, again, it's our job to look into all these people that stay up all day, all night, working in the shop, coming up with something that, you know, they just love what they do. And Roland took advantage of his father having all the equipment and stuff to show him how all that's done. And then when he came back from racing, he went out on his own and made it for himself. And we all enjoyed something on our bikes that came from Roland Sands.
Yep.
So he deserves to be one of the inductees this year.
Fantastic, man. Congratulations, Roland, your whole team.
So moving on again, we have a very unique and a very important category for us to talk about now. It's the 1981 Trophy Donations. 1981 Trophy Donation. Back in, I believe it to be 1940, motocross became very important, and the Europeans came up with this Trophy Donations, and what it basically is the Olympics of motocross. All countries had the opportunity to put the best 3 or 4 riders that their country had to offer and put them on the motocross course on the side of the hill somewhere in Europe. And the United States was also one of them. And the problem is that we just went over there and we just got beat to half to death from the Europeans. They owned motocross. And in 1981, the Honda team took their factory team to Belgium, to the Trophy des Nations, and kicked their ass.
Nice. Yeah.
And it was like the Miracle on Ice.
That's just what I was going to say. This is our miracle story.
It is absolutely what happened. They went over there as a team. Chuck's son, Donnie Hansen, Danny Laporte, and Johnny the Osho O'Mara. They got on their motorcycles, and I'm talking about the way it works is you just don't, they're not riding the same size motorcycles. Like Donnie Hansen might be on the 250, and Johnny O'Mara is on the 125, and Chuck's son's on the open bike. And the two of the riders would go up to the line and race against all the other riders in the world, and they would take what positions that they end up getting, put it together after the race is all over, and whoever scored best, no matter what bike you were riding, and that's who won. And it took us 41 years.
41. Wow.
41 years, and Honda put their factory team together. The only time that a factory single team put their team out there and won the Nations. It's all, what it could be is you could have one out of the Yamaha team, one out of the Suzuki team, and one out of the Honda team. But that year it was all Honda, and that's what's so important. There was nobody even covered it. There's like one guy went over there and he's got the only footage because the Americans don't have a chance. So why go even over there?
Wow.
Until they went over there 23 times after that, the United States has won the Trophy des Nations.
Oh my,
including
even better.
Including 2022, that the des Nations was here in the United States. This is a huge deal, and it wasn't just the four riders. It was Dave Arnold and the legend himself, Roger DeCoster.
Yeah, buddy. You can't
They
even
were
talk
the team
about
managers. This. They went over there. Roger DeCoster is currently the manager of the KTM team. He didn't give up. He won, 15 times on Suzuki, the des Nations. When he lived in Belgium, he ends up saying, I'm going to the United States, goes to Los Angeles, and goes to work for the Honda team. And the next thing you know, that year, we end up winning the Trophy des Nations. What a story.
Yeah.
We're going to induct the entire team along with the managers this year, and we couldn't be prouder.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
To have those riders be there. And just on a side note, Johnny O'Mara was my neighbor. I got to see him work out on a daily basis. I saw what he went through. I would have breakfast with him before I went to work, but he had already rode his bicycle 100 miles or something, or swam some ridiculous amount to be ready. I never seen anybody get ready for what he loved to do than the Osho. And they'll be there this year. What a treat that is for all of us.
That is fantastic, man. And I mean, a lot of people who are just in the V-twin side of things might be sitting there going, well, how does this fit into the Sturgis Hall of Fame? And, but this is, again, maybe you don't pay attention to things beyond the surface level, but there is more competition going on in Sturgis around that rally. Yeah. And I mean, from its very inception.
Oh, absolutely.
So it makes so much sense. And I'm so proud for you guys to like bring somebody with the clout and the heaviness of Roger DeCoster, because Roger was another guy, like in the world of motocross, Roger was a lot of guys, Jay Allen. You know, he
Yeah.
fostered young guys. He did things like the RM Cup for years and years and years. And like when he was Team Suzuki, my God, he brought guys to the table like Travis Pastrana. The world may not know Travis Pastrana if it wasn't for Roger DaCosta.
And think about it, though. Every major bike event back then had some kind of racing. And the majority of it was dirt. I mean, whether it was hill climbs or flat tracks or so that racing, motocross, not only was it a stepping stone for the majority of us to get into it, but it was the history of motorcycling for most of us.
And that's where we come in, because what we do is we don't just focus on one category.
Right.
We look at all the categories, and make no mistake about it, these young men that just to understand what these guys do on that motocross bike, they travel 100 yards and only set down twice.
Yep.
At 60 some miles an hour in the air. This is incredible. They beat those lightweight bikes to death, but that's how the technology comes back to us, and the suspensions and keeping the motors alive, and how much can they take before they blow. These guys do all that. All of that technology transfers over throughout the industry and ends up on touring bikes and off-road different bikes. That's where that technology comes from, right? What we're going to bring to the Hall of Fame breakfast this year. And I'll tell you, these guys are, like you said, Roger DaCosta to me is the Mickey Mantle of motorcycling. He is just that if we could for him to be there is just
fitting.
I don't know what to say. It's just
very fitting.
More than I can handle.
and you know, when you talk about what these guys did, like that's even more of a reason to like pay attention and give homage to this stuff, because you and I had a conversation before the show leading up to this show about, you know, Team Harley Davidson and this being a time, this picture of Roger on that Suzuki, this was a time where, you know, you didn't have to be the little jockey guy to ride in motocross. No. You had to be a steak-eating, cigar-smoking son of a bitch, because those were twin shock motorcycles that they were barely designed
very
for
little
being
suspension.
on the dirt.
And beat the hell out of you.
Yeah.
Well, you know, all through the development of motocross motorcycles, I was very lucky to be, you know, the first Supercross race was in the Los Angeles Coliseum. I was there. I got to see that, I believe it was 1972.
Wow.
And I got to watch these young kids. It wasn't a race. It was war against the United States and Europe.
It was a throw.
And Roger rode for the Europe team. Aki Johnson, Joe Rivera, all great riders from Europe came to the Coliseum to smoke the U.S. And here's some kid on a Honda 250 CR 250 Elsinore named Marty Tripes.
Yeah.
And smokes them at 16 years old on a brand new, entered in the first two-stroke Honda race bike.
Wow.
And what a you know, what an honor it was just to be there. I still don't forget it because I love that stuff. But now we can bring the 81 team that represented the United States of America here. They represented, there it is.
Yeah.
The Coliseum right there.
Wow.
And but to represent the United States, that's what the Honda did in 81.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and to look at those bikes, I mean, I remember growing up out in old Bataka, and I used to love riding that thing, and I hated going over jumps because I had to land.
Oh, you know, and that, listen, that's what's funny.
Horrible.
In 2002, I bought my first monoshock dirt bike. I bought a KX250, a 2002 KX250, and I was so excited. We got all the gear and everything, man. I got with a bunch of my buddies, and we went out to the track. At this point now, there were motocross practice tracks. You could just pay to ride there.
Yeah.
So we went. I hit my first double, wide open, two-stroke, screaming in the pipe. Hit my first double, and I clenched my teeth and every bone in my body, and I was just waiting. And when that thing hit the landing and it went, whoosh, I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Throw that finger aside.
Well,
I
you
could
know
never
something,
do that.
Chris? In 1970, I bought a 250 Elsinore the day after that race from Bud Eakins. Right down to Bud Eakins' shop, buy a 250 Elsinore, and race the Elsinore. And I went off a 250, and I went to an open bike, and I still have my 440 Mako.
No.
I still have it. It's in the garage. And so
that might need to be in a museum.
That becomes part of your life.
Yeah.
Motorcycles in every degree comes part of your life. And the Donations has taken the United States now, like every sport, hockey, ice, everything. Eventually, here come the Americans.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened. And now, of course, if you follow it, how well the United States does in any of that now.
Yeah.
And we're going to bring that out in front of everybody. And it's something that it just needs to be told. It's a story that needs to be told.
That's fantastic.
Hey, I still got my TT 500 downstairs, and I love those thumpers, man. That TT 500 Yamaha,
Yeah.
I never get rid of it.
I'm going to come to your house. I want to see it.
Hey, and
I love that.
who can forget the years, like, especially for us, we grew up in Pennsylvania. Woods racing was how you visited your friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
But right down the road from us, and just inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame a few years ago, is Ed Lojack. Ed Lojack, or Smilin' Ed as they called him, still to this day, before they actually called it the GNCCs, it was called the 100 Milers. Ed Lojack is still to this day hasn't raced, and I think his sons are retiring from racing at this point. He's still the winningest champion that there ever was.
Yeah.
And who can forget from those days bikes like the Husky 490?
Dude.
You could cut a tree in half with that bike.
Yeah, that's how that Potaka was. That thing could climb a house.
Right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
It was great memories. And moving on in the racing department, we have what we call, or could call, our special categories. And the first one that comes up is what we call kickstands down. What we chose to do a couple years ago was to honor some of the people in the industry that just happened to pass away before their time, and we never had a chance to honor them into the Hall of Fame. But now that they passed away, we're not going to forget what all the things that they've done. And one of the people that we talked about earlier is Burt Monroe.
Yeah.
Now,
Woo! Thank you.
Here's a guy that was born in 1899. And when he's 21 years old, buys a Indian Scout that had that top speed on the bike was 55 miles an hour. But that wasn't going to work for him. Took him like 47 years or something, and he all along going to races in New Zealand and Australia and stuff. Finally came to the United States. He came maybe 8 times. But when he finally was able, the thing that held him back from being there way earlier than that was he didn't have any money. So everything he did himself. He casted pistons. He made cases. He made crankshafts. He made everything that it took to go faster himself with primitive tools that he just didn't have the best tools, but he had what he had and he made it go. And he brought that motorcycle over there and he takes this motorcycle, it's on the screen right now, and goes 200. The category that he wanted to be in was a motorcycle under 1,000 cc. So he ended up making his bike, I believe it to be 950 cc's. And that's the bike that he went as fast as he possibly could. He set different records, and I believe some of them still stand. Jay, you may know more about that.
No, there's definitely one, B. Monroe, and it's in the 180s. I look at it all the time. Yes.
You're going to try and beat it?
This is a guy that there
whooped.
isn't anybody out there with motorcycles that didn't see The Fastest Indian. That was such a impressive movie. And now I think it's time to recognize him into the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum and Hall of Fame. And we couldn't be prouder to do that.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Hey, guys, I went into the black and white, Carmen's black and white. And this year I was up there ready to kill it with 3 race bikes. And as any of you know, Bonneville did not happen this last year. Every event got rained out. So you go down to Carmen's, checking whether they have a cold one. And these 2 old guys were sitting at the bar. And I asked them, how many years you guys been coming to Bonneville? And they were buddies. They said, we've been coming for 50 years. We've never missed a year.
Wow.
And I said, well, did you knew Burt Monroe? And they go, oh, yeah, we knew Burt. And they said, something you might not know, and the sad thing about Burt Monroe is he came 9 times to Bonneville.
Yep. 9 times.
And on the 9th time, he did not get to ride his bike. And I wished I had the answer for you, and I'll get back to you guys after Bonneville. But for some reason, the last year that man stepped on that salt, he did not ride that course.
Wow.
And that's a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's an overall unbelievable story that's impressed all of us. Inspiration to all motorcyclists. The guts and the backbone and everything he went through to try to get to Bonneville.
Yeah.
And then to get on that bike and break the records that have been set for a long time. What a great story, and we're going to tell that story. We want everybody to.
That's
know.
wonderful.
And
I hope that
Well,
someday to
guys,
do that.
just think his legacy. He's gone, and he's still getting people caught up in Bonneville.
Oh, my
I
God.
met a guy in the hot tub, and I said, are you a land speed racer? And he goes, well, I am now. It's my first year. And I go, well, what's your story? He goes, my father saw the world's fastest Indian. He went out and bought a Norton. He started wrenching on it, and he passed away. And he says, I'm here to fulfill my father's dream.
Cool.
And all because of the world's fastest Indian. And that man went out on that Norton, and he set a partial streamline record and a naked record, and it was all because of world's fastest
Oh, yeah.
Indian,
Yeah.
Mr. Burt Monroe.
I know the first
Just
time Chris
heartwarming
had me
story.
watch it, I looked straight at him. I said, I have to go to Bonneville. I just have to be there.
Yeah.
It's just such an experience just to be there, whether you're on racing or not, to be part of that and to go to Carmen's and the Legends dinner. And it's almost indescribable.
Heather, I'm going to need you to go talk to my wife. Because I've been watching that movie every couple of months. I love it. I want to go. I'm waiting.
Well, you can come with us.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal, just so you know. So that picture you saw with me with my Bonneville bike, Tom has been letting me run his board track racer at Sons of Speed, his twin.
So now he can run War Pony.
That's the deal that
There
we
you
made.
go.
That's an experience for an experienced trade.
Bonneville is the last frontier. You go to Bonneville, and there's guys there that we used to see pull up in their vans or something, and they unload their motorcycle. At Bonneville, that's still the way it is. They're seeing tractor trailers with 50-foot long enclosed stuff, and here they come with everything. It's the regular guy that in his garage puts his bike together as best he can and takes it out there and makes like Jay says, I mean, not every year is the salt favorable, because you got to get a head start to go through the lights, to go a mile, go out the other end, and you've got, if you're trying to go for a record, they want to know that. and you tell them that before you go, right, Jay? And
Nope,
then
absolutely.
when they want to know what you're up to, you tell them I'm going for this record, and then but if the salt isn't favorable, it's not happening this year.
Right.
You know, uh, I really got hooked on it, to be honest with you, because that was such a such a just the regular guy was out there. And it was amazing. You got guys like Jay that's going 260 miles an hour or something. Then you got another guy on a skateboard that's sitting there with a little motor on it going, trying to break some screwball record.
And he did 110 on that stand-up scooter. I know the guy you're talking about with a full face helmet and leathers. I was like, wow.
Or how about when we were there was a guy on an electric bicycle, and we were like, I think it was the longest pass ever.
So listen, couple things real quick. Just to let you guys know the official word on this. This is from Burt Monroe's Wikipedia page. 1962, he set an 883cc class record of 288 kilometers, 178.95 miles per hour. 66, 1000cc class record of 168. 67, under 1000cc class of 183.59. He qualified one time unofficially for 200-mile-an-hour pass. In 2006, he was inducted to the Hall of Fame and AMA. 2014, 36 years after his death, he was posthumously awarded a 1967 record of 296.25 kilometers. That's 184.87 miles per hour after his son John noticed a calculation error by the AMA at that time.
Oh, my.
Jeepers.
Wow.
That's going back.
That's his accomplishments were incredible on a motorcycle, like you said. That the stock speed of that bike was running to town for milk and bread.
Yeah, right.
But do you guys know what the first vehicle to ever attempt a speed trial at Bonneville was? Do you know how Bonneville got started? Anybody?
Bicycles, isn't it?
That's right.
Bicycles.
So
by two journalists, right?
The first one was a PR stunt by
was it Hearst?
William
was it
Randolph Hearst, who bet somebody they couldn't cross Bonneville in a certain amount of time on a bicycle. That was the first vehicle that went across Bonneville was bicycles.
You know, one of the cool things about Bonneville is when there's nothing going on there, you'd never know it was there.
Right.
Like it's still untouched, you know?
Dude, even when Bonneville is going on,
right,
you don't know that it's there. From the highway, you can look out across the salt and you can't even see the pitch. You can't see that anything's happening.
It's like still the same as it was forever ago. I think that's one of the coolest things.
Bucket
Hey, Chris, that time. Oh, go ahead.
There's so many guys. Dennis Manning has made a lifetime of trying to go faster than anybody else. He had to deal with the Ack Attack. He had to deal with so many other people that also wanted to. But to watch that, I don't know. That's as close as you could really get to really see people work and go out there and race their bikes and go as fast as they possibly can, get a run at it, go through the lights, go out the other end, and now what happened? And it was just quite a thrill to watch whether they're going as fast as they possibly can to break all speed records or whether all the categories in between that you could fit into. It was fun for me to watch all that.
Well, hey, to get you guys caught up on this year, that Bub Streamliner that Dennis built, which was the fastest motorcycle in the world until Ack Attack broke that record, I think with a 374. This year, Valerie Thompson crashed that bike in Australia, and Dennis has been working on it for over 2 years. And Aaron and Trev have taken on the position where Trev is going to pilot that bike. And this year, if the salt is good, they're going for 400 miles an hour.
Woo. Man, I want to be there for that. All right, we might be going to Bonneville this year.
They're going for 400.
Yeah,
if anybody could do it, I think Dennis has spent a lifetime putting that together. And you know, Jay, I was there with him when he was watching the Ack Attack
Yeah.
go, and
Oh,
was it Watkins or whatever, he on a Kawasaki, he went faster than Dennis did, but it was on his return run, he blew the front tire and went down, and holy mackerel,
that was Sam Wheeler. Yeah, and
Sam Wheeler.
Yeah.
and he ended up. I believe he made 13 one-way world records, and he was never able to back him up. And God bless him. He died out there on that salt, Mr. Sam Wheeler. He was a genius, and he'll always be a legend in the world of land speed racing, Mr. Sam Wheeler. Yeah.
And Sam Wheeler rode, that was a single motored,
Yes.
1100 cc Kawasaki, I believe, turbo. Am I wrong?
No, that's it. And he built it. Yes.
And he built that bike, and man, here he is. All the excitement. You got 1 hour to return. You can't work on the bike. All you could do is put air in the tires and put gasoline in it, and that's it. You turn it around and make a turn back, and here he comes and blows the front tire off the bike. And that was
a heartbreaker.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, I was just going to say, that FXR I put you on, I ran in the 190s. I think that bike has set more records than any FXR in the history of Harley Davidson. Yeah. But when you got off that bike, I felt like Santa Claus. You should have seen the look on Chris's face. I mean, that thing is a monster, and he got off. He was so happy. It made me proud to let you ride that bike.
And we both got yelled at for it because you let me ride. You let me ride it in the pits. I didn't have any gear on. Like,
I heard about that the whole ride home.
Oh yeah,
I think I got 40 phone calls.
Well, it's that's a great sport. Everybody should at least go there and see it one time if they haven't before. And I know that it hooked me on it, and it's just more fun we have on a motorcycle. It just keeps going.
And Jay, just so you know, that experience you gave me led to this.
Oh yeah, no, I know. and is she coming back out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good. I got to give Tommy a ride on it.
I might
nice.
Yeah, that is one of the coolest bikes we ever built, right there.
Oh yeah.
And if Wink Eller's still out there, Wink, again, thank you for everything you shared with me and all your influence on me.
Yes,
and
sir.
Cliff Gold, God rest his soul, he's gone, but he was another mentor with Wink and me, and so many people that we all just help each other along the way. Thank you, Wink.
Yes, sir.
Well, he was one of them that made a difference. No doubt about it. Well, moving on again, we have another one of our special categories is the Freedom Fighter. That's Russell Renke. And so, there's constantly, like Chris said earlier tonight, there's constantly people trying to take our rights away. Eventually they're going to want us to wear seatbelts on our bike.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were going to do something to get us off the street for whatever reason that is. So the motorcycle rights, whether it be ABATE, the other organizations, Russell is part of all that. He's a legislator. He's in Washington, D.C. He knows more about it and gets right in the middle of what it takes to not take our rights away. So, and I know Chris knows more about it, and maybe and Leah also. So I'll turn it over to you for Russ.
Well, I mean, one of the things to say important about this is like as much effort as there is to dedicate your whole life to motorcycling, to dedicate your life to motorcycle rights. We have historically and categorically been frowned upon by popular culture or popular society. We've always been considered to be on the fringe. There has always been some regulation trying to take rights away from us. On one hand, they want to make it mandatory for us to wear helmets. On the other hand, they want to exclude us from the same benefits that insurance provides motorists, or they want to exclude us from the same safety conditions that are afforded to motorists of four-wheel vehicles.
And they want your organs.
Yeah. So, I mean, it just without these people, and I think back to, the OGs of this stuff, guys like Rogue, who is also a freedom fighter in the Hall of Fame. These guys set down the foundation for this, but it is the cost is eternal vigilance. There has to be somebody minding the shop all the time. So to honor the people that are doing this work, there's absolutely just no greater thanks that we can give for that.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, all of us that love motorcycles, and I bought a 305 Super Hawk, 1964, and that's what I folded papers for the LA Times. And I got $34 a month, and I put it all into a payment for the motorcycle that I rode to school, and that was the start of it for me. And I don't think there's ever been a day that I haven't had a motorcycle. So if that's what you love, I know I was in automotive. When I sold my company, I went right into motorcycles and been the last 26 years in motorcycles, making parts for bikes. So this is what we love. And anybody that wants to get in the middle of that and try to take those rights away from us, it just seems wrong to me. And there's guys like Russ that goes out and fights for us and the different organizations that he belongs to. So good for him, and we're going to honor him this year also.
Right on. And
hey, it's good for him and good for us.
Yeah.
And by the way, Roy Rogers rode a 305 Super Hawk.
You know something I've always said, a person should always go back and get the very bike, the first bike that they ever had, no matter what. And I'm working on that. All
right.
Man, one more thing I just want to add for everybody that's watching this, be involved. That organizations like ABATE and the MRF and even the AMA, which at times were, slightly against us chopper folk, but you have to be a member. You have to add to their ranks so that when they ask for a voice or a seat at the legislative table, our numbers all count for them. So even if you never go to a damn meeting, put your name in the hat.
Yep.
Sign up, be part of it, so that their numbers count in those situations.
Absolutely.
So the last category that we have is the Lifetime Achievement Award. And that category goes to a person that is already a Hall of Famer. We started out, I believe it to be 8 years ago, and it was the Arlen Ness got the first Lifetime Achievement Award. And this year, we're going to give that award to Donnie Smith.
Yeah.
How about it?
Yeah, baby.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Now, Donnie Smith is one of the founders of the Hamsters. I'm proud to have been a hamster now for 28 years. We talk all the time. But Donnie was actually a farm boy. He lived on the farm and fixed stuff that broke. And his real passion at the beginning was to build a race car. So he got a Barracuda. He wanted to go top fuel funny car. So he was, him and his brothers would build that bike at night because they just had day jobs. Like so many people did that. Not everybody has got the sponsors. Donnie didn't. They worked day and night to get the car ready to go. And one of the ways that they had a little bit of money to prove as people were bringing their motorcycles over, saying, "Can you fix this? Can you do that?" The next thing you know, more people were bringing motorcycles than he had time to work on his car. So he ended up opening his shop and ended up in the motorcycle industry. And now he's one of the top and has been, whether representing the Camel with Dave Perowitz and Arlen Ness. He builds known for building some of the top custom motorcycles there are out there. And he's my friend, and I think the world of him. And this year, he spent a lifetime building what he believed to be the best out there, put his name on it, and he's just a great ambassador to our culture. And I'm proud to say that Donnie Smith is going to get the Lifetime Achievement Award in 2023.
Yeah.
Right on. Let's not forget that he does an amazing show also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his bike show is one of the best out there.
Well, to go to his bike show, and I know what it we built some bikes at the high school, and we went to Donnie's show and entered them. And it was just a fun trip because some of these young kids that, that graduate from high school, they have forgot about the industrial arts programs. Kids are graduating that don't know how to read a tape measure.
Yeah.
And we would build bikes, but where did we go? To the Donnie Smith Invitational. That's where you had to bring your motorcycle if you thought you had anything. And so it was a blast doing that. I've entered some of my own bikes. I never won, but I keep going back because maybe someday. But it's just fun to be there, and Johnny has just been an inspiration to all of us.
Hey, Keith, looking back, when I think of Donnie, one of my favorite things about his customs were his girder front ends.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
that was
his
the
business.
Story behind that?
That was his business. He built, a lot of people built front ends, but he built the girder front end that went on so many custom motorcycles. Like that was the first thing you bought, is one of Donnie Smith's front ends, and started your project right there. And Donnie had such a talent, and still does. I mean, he's doing this still every single day.
The shocker.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Woo! There it is, and that's how so many just started a custom build with the front end, just like that. So Donnie, Arlen, and David Perowitz. I mean, almost everything bike we have something of all of those on that bike. I know I do.
Hey, he's the sugar bear girder front ends.
Yeah.
Sugar bear is a whole other story.
I wonder if he got that from wheelie bars, from racing.
Right?
Yeah, I mean,
right?
I've questioned that before, knowing that he was into racing, and then
dude,
you look
I
at
never
those,
put that together.
Yeah, you look at those girders
angle.
and you think, is that where the stress
Looks
factor?
like wheelie bars, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in common. I'd love to know if there's a link between the two of those.
Huh.
Yeah, I got a really cool Donnie Smith frame that I picked up at a swap meet last year that I'm building. I'm looking forward to revealing that.
Well, Tom, you and I are very lucky because we're both hamsters. We get to see Donnie all the time.
Yeah.
And get to interact with him and ride with him, the founders of the, of the hamsters.
Dude, wait a minute.
That's a thrill for us.
I got to break in.
He's going to show a picture.
Well, seriously, look at this. I never
lot
thought
of
about this.
I've thought about that for a while now.
The structure of the wheelie bar. Oh, we got to ask Donnie about this.
Yeah, I'm curious if that's that's how he came up with that idea.
It's really similar, very similar,
right?
Wow.
We may unearth
Groundbreaking.
some chopper facts here. I don't know.
Yeah.
Chopper
and
history.
again, you go back to, you think about how much the car and the bike thing comes together. And you look at Donnie Smith and think, man, more than you could ever imagine. Here's a guy that, wanted to be a funny car driver, build those cars, and he did. And then, like you said, Keith, he found, more people were looking for work getting done on bikes than on anything else, and, pretty much changed the direction he was going in. Yeah.
Well, that's really what he did, and then he just never stopped. It just kept his talent. Went out into our industry, and anybody that wanted a bike built that maybe didn't have the equipment or didn't have the ability or whatever, they could go to Donnie Smith, and within 6 months or something of Donnie going to work, they're rolling out one of the top custom motorcycles.
Yeah.
If you don't like, for me, to get on any of our custom bikes, I get on mine and it just makes me feel good. I just like to hear and listen to it. Every bit of it is part of the experience for us to go out and ride. And then so lucky to get to ride with Arlen and Donnie and David, Grady, and all the other guys that deal with custom motorcycles. It isn't just our group. There's a million of them, and so it's just fun. To me, it made me feel.
Well, I'll tell you what. Of all the stuff they did out of the Smith Brothers Fetro camp, and I'm not sure if this was just East Coast or the guys that we ran around with. There was a couple parts that were, it was just standard. A custom bike had to have a pair of those fender struts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
the little shocks
and the Springer strut and stud sets. Like that was another thing that was like you were cooler in school. You pulled up on Ironhead Sportster with a set of those on now with some of them fender struts. Boy.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah.
Boy. Yep.
They were awesome. I just actually installed a set of those not long ago on a good friend of mine's bike.
Did you?
They're awesome. Little stiff, but they look good.
Yeah. One step from hardtail.
Yeah.
Well, that was, something we all did, I know the few bikes that I built in my shop, I was just trying to figure out how to start all those bikes, but when I had time, I would build a bike and I was able to put my parts on it and go to the shows that we all went to. It was just fun because you're there with all the rest of the people that are doing what you do. I mean, the motorcycle industry is without question the most fun industry. The biggest characters. Everybody's just has a different personality, like everything. But the motorcycle industry are the most charitable. There's just nothing like that industry that we are in, and I wouldn't give it up for nothing.
They're the best.
Yeah.
Amen.
Certainly is.
Yes, sir. So that is.
Well, that's our lineup for 2023. We couldn't be prouder of it. It took us a year to get here. A whole lot of wade through the all the inductees are the nominees that were sent in. This is how you can, all of you out there that are listening, you can go to the website at the museum and you can take the form off of the website. And if you have somebody that you think is worthy and able to be brought into the Hall of Fame, then you can fill that nominee form out, put their name in, and send it in. Now, it's all throughout the year we're collecting those. We're putting all the ones that are sent in a pile, we'll call it. And then towards the end of the year, we pull everything out of the pile, we put it out on the table, and we wade through it and see and I don't know how to say it any different. We are looking for the best of the best. And we try to sort through that, and that is how we end up with the lineup we have this year and all the years. But we, like Leah said, since 2021. We're doing the same thing, and this is how you do it. You send in that form, and we will. It has to be that way to get the name in for us to look at it, and so that's how it starts. And then we'll go through it, and we'll do the. We have a Hall of Fame committee. It's not a committee of one person. It's a whole committee. Scott Jacobs is on that committee. We have so much talented people that are on that committee, and we search through. We read the bios. We want to pick the best, and that's what we're going to do and keep doing it. So that's your guys' job to send in the form for us to sort through it, and hopefully, and the other thing is there's only going to be 5 that brought in. So it's so difficult. Get in, get your bios, get everything about you so we can look into it and make that the right decision.
Well, I'll tell you what, man.
All right, Leah, is that the way it goes?
Yes, they all come in and we collect throughout the whole year. They get consolidated, and it's not an easy task. It's not a task that's taken at all lightly. And we value so much that everybody who loves this sport and this lifestyle and this culture, like we do, take the time to find those people who they think epitomize what's great about the industry to send it into us. And for everybody that sent a name in, thank you. And like Keith said, unfortunately there's only 5. That's the hardest part of this job, because there's so many great people out there that come into us. So keep sending them in, please.
And thank you, Mark Bradshaw, for submitting my name.
I think there's a wonderful crew.
Mark called me. I know that he called you, Jay, and he was so excited. I mean, everybody is. We're all excited for everybody. This is an honor, and we're able to bring the best forward so everybody can see their story. I want to hear the stories. I don't know all those people, but I have maybe heard of them, or I've been able to read about them, or whatever it is. Now here they are. They're going to be there right in front of us, and that's what everybody that comes to the induction breakfast are able to interact with the very people that are coming up on stage, talk motorcycling, and so that's what we are trying to do, and awesome. We enjoy doing it.
Yes, sir.
Love that breakfast.
Well, and listen, man, we definitely want to give you guys a commendation for the work, for everything about this, the diversity and what you're doing, the way that you honor these people. Like, if you guys have never been to this ceremony, the process, the stories that you get to hear, like it's an inside look at people who've dedicated their life to this. It's amazing.
It really
and if you're very lucky, you get to meet Sugar Bear.
I love Sugar Bear.
I think this year's class is fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know how they let one bum in.
Yeah,
the rest very good.
Can we appeal?
Is there any appeal?
Oh, you stop. You stop.
All right, guys. Well, listen. Tell everybody where they can keep tabs on the museum and the Hall of Fame. You guys have a whole line of social media and websites.
Yep. If you go out to www.sturgismuseum.com, we're out on Instagram and Facebook at Sturgis Motorcycle Museum. And if you just want to call up and shoot the breeze, give us a call at 605-347-2001. Like I said before, we've got a small but mighty team of really passionate people that are dedicated to carrying forward and preserving the vision and the mission of this museum. And we'd love to see you out here.
And wait a minute, we didn't talk about the brick program, right?
The brick program, you can go out through, that is through the city
City of
now.
Sturgis,
Is
yeah.
it?
And yep, to the City of Sturgis. And if you go out on the City of Sturgis's website, you can order in bricks for installation there. And that will also have you the map of where all the bricks are.
Cool.
So if you bought a brick, you can go find that out there too.
Does this help you guys, the brick project?
That I believe is through the city.
Oh, okay. So this does nothing
Yeah.
for the museum. So we're not going to put that link up.
Moving on.
Put it up, come on. This is all part of a group effort
I
with the City
know.
of Sturgis
those
and
brick
the rally and
people call
everything
us.
else.
I know. We'll have Sturgis, the City of Sturgis, on another time.
we'll have the
Tonight's
brick
all
lady.
about you guys.
Yeah, we'll have the brick lady call
Well,
us
thank you.
another day.
You know, it is an honor to have your brick. I have one, and it took me 3 hours to find it.
Because you didn't get the map,
I'm looking
Keith.
at all these names and everything, and I'm going, man, I know I paid for it. It's got to be here somewhere.
Oh,
I
that's
see my
Finally
Motor Made brick every
found
day
it.
when I come to work.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
that's awesome. Listen, thank you guys so much for doing this with us tonight. You know, we're hoping that this becomes a regular part of our year,
yes.
an annual thing. So absolutely put us on the calendar, include us and stuff. We're gonna come out again this year and do the broadcast from the breakfast ceremony for anybody who
I can't wait
be
to
in
see how you
Sturgis.
pull that one.
Yeah,
off.
I want to wait and watch that.
Dan Starkey already volunteered, so I got helpers coming in.
I'm sure Steve will come too.
Steve Burrows.
Along with, before we leave, Law Tigers is our titled sponsor this coming year. They have been the last 2 or 3 years, and that's very important to us on how we're able to put everything together with their help, along with so many others that help out as well. But Law Tigers is a big deal for us to have them as our title sponsor.
Very
So,
cool. Yeah, and the
thank
Law
them
Tigers
and
again.
Thank all of you.
Yeah, Law Tigers again. You know, we talk about this time and time again. You know, here's a company that they're everywhere at the motorcycle events. You can see their branding everywhere, but what you don't see is they are involved in making it happen.
Yes.
Every
What they do
opportunity they
behind.
can be,
Yep.
they can put themselves in because
They
they're out here doing
participate.
it with
Yeah.
us.
They
Yeah.
ride with us.
Yeah.
They actually participate, which is awesome.
Right.
Well,
They-
you
they-
can't beat
they're
experience
involved.
either.
They are involved. You know, to ride with the guys is just so much fun. All of us go wherever we go at the Broken Spoke.
There you go.
And drink there until we, can tell. We're starting to believe the stories ourselves. We're able to tell. So it's just nothing but fun. And Law Tigers helps us all do that.
You think maybe we can get an inflatable?
Mark's been angling for one of them for years.
Yeah.
Listen, man, thank you all so much. Jay, on behalf of all three of us on the screen right now and the thousands and thousands of people, thank you for never losing faith in us and making sure that we didn't lose faith in ourselves.
Love you very
And
much,
thank you
buddy.
guys
Thank
for
you.
providing a forum and keeping this whole thing alive. I love every one of you. You guys are making it happen. And Leah, you're amazing what you're doing in Sturgis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
My
sir.
pleasure.
Awesome.
And Keith, I mean, your dedication, it's just a great family. It really is.
Amen.
God bless.
We're proud to be a part of it.
It's wonderful.
All right, guys. So we'll see you in South Dakota next stop.
Shiny side
Thank-
up, rubber side down.
That's right.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Take care. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
All right, so hey, to remind you guys, you're watching Shop Talk here on Sunday night. This one went a little long for us, and rightfully so. There was a lot to talk about. We had a lot of special guests in with us. We had Kiefer in the side hack. Look at him.
Son of a biscuit
I'm
eater.
sitting right over here doing my thing,
Doing
which is
his
nothing. Which is nothing.
He's
Oh,
in.
you've been doing way more
Oh,
than
yeah.
nothing the past couple of days.
Well, no, in the side chair here, I'm doing nothing but sitting here.
He's been busting it with me. We've been getting down on that chopper, man. And Arizona is short time. Daytona's like 2 minutes from now.
Yeah.
And Kiefer's in town to help me get my shit together on
And
the
then
bike.
Mark's over there, the painter.
The painter. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's not even talk about it.
We're calling for the rest of February and March. We're calling him 3-Bike Mark.
Hey, Mark.
I'll be able to rob anybody because I won't have fingerprints. That's all I can tell you.
Mark, first thought when you saw my frame last night.
Same as when I see them all. Stupid effing motorcycle. First thing I think when somebody drops them off my mistake was I put the paint booth up. I should have just said, hey, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So, no, I love it, and it's great to be a part of it, and so I'm looking forward to it. So
Chopper Friends Throwdown has a website now. Look it up. Check out the other builders. There's some amazing shit going on with that.
There's 15 now?
And we are getting paint for the competition also, just letting you know.
What's that?
Said we're doing some paint work for the competition also.
Who's that?
Come on, who is? Who
You're
is
not
that?
allowed to say it.
No,
there's a secret crasher.
That's right.
We're not allowed to say
I think
who it
there's
is.
like 3 crashers not announced, but that we found out about in the last 2 days.
Yep.
Did you see Curtis Hoffman and his carbon fiber fender?
I did.
On a chopper?
I did, and I think it's awesome.
That is
I
really
think it's
cool.
awesome because he's there again. We're talking about crossing boundaries, man.
Yes, sir.
Curtis is taking what he's known for and he's incorporating it in something else and showing
for
everybody
him.
what he can do.
Tell you what,
it's all about.
that fender, that profile is killer.
Yep.
Killer.
All right, so listen, man. We're gonna cut it a little bit short.
A little bit
short. We're an hour over.
We're not going to do our rate. Like, we still have
I
tech
gotta leave here
and
and go straight to
events
work
and all kind of stuff, but we'll save that stuff for next week. I do want to say, Annie, it's time for bed. And Heather, you're supposed to yell at Radar.
Radar, go to bed.
And Mark?
Other than that, you guys are going to have to tune in. Remember, every Sunday night we go live here in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio with another episode of Shop Talk, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, where we'll bring you 90 to 120 minutes or more sometimes of all the two-wheel bullshit we can fit. Until next week, be kind to yourself. Get out in the garage until we bring you more same chopper time.
I'm super proud of you, sweetheart. Same chopper channel.
See you at Cycle Showcase, Felicia.
Yeah, boy. We'd like to thank our sponsors for their continued support, and we hope you pay them a visit when you're in the market for great motorcycle parts, products, and events. S&S Cycle, Makuni American, Baco Parts, The Broken Spoke Saloon, Twisted Tea, The Iron Horse Saloon, High Seas Rally, Twisted Choppers, Twin Power, Drag Specialties, Geico, Law Tigers, Tech Cycle, Fueling Parts, Lone Star Rally, Hijinks Apparel, Progressive Insurance, Spectral Oil, No School Choppers, Motion Pro Tools.